All right, it is time for me to share some updates on the products I purchased during the Sephora VIB sale. Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm sure a lot of you have Sephora VIB sale fatigue. As you know, there is just so much content put out during the Sephora VIB sale, and it can get very overwhelming. I mentioned in my original recommendations video that I, as well as probably many of you, would be placing more than one order. I did place one more order after my original haul video, so there is one product in here that I have not shown yet, I have not talked about yet. So I decided to go with the top 5, bottom 5 concept, my 5 favorite products from my haul and my 5 least favorite products from my haul. So I think that's where I'm going to start, with my bottom 5 products. These are the products that just didn't work for me in some manner, which I will explain, but I'm definitely not saying they're horrible products. In fact, I think they would be excellent for, well, actually 4 out of 5 I think would be excellent for someone other than me, and again, I will explain why. Beginning with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Glow Blush. I purchased the shade 50 Euphoric. Look at the color of this blush. It is absolutely stunning. And I knew going in that this blush does have sheen to it, a shimmer. And I own many blushes with shimmer that I can wear successfully. This was unsuccessful for me because as soon as I applied it, I am wearing it right now, I feel like it emphasized all the texture I have in this area. You know how sometimes you put on a highlighter and if you have larger pores or texture, those things are immediately enhanced. So I, like many of you, do try to avoid products that do that. And unfortunately, this blush in this particular shade falls into that category of just really emphasizing what I don't want emphasized in this area. I am going to be trying one of the other shades without shimmer and follow up with you on how I feel about that. But as far as the pigmentation goes, I found, again, I only have the one shade, so I can't compare it to any of the others just yet. But what I can tell you is that, in my opinion, it has a sheer buildable formula. So you can build up more color with this. However, I found that when I did that, I was emphasizing more and more of that texture. So this was disappointing. Not a bad product. It's just not right for me. Another product that was disappointing, and it could work really, really well for others, but I just don't love it, and I really thought I would. This is the One Size Secure the Sweat Day Till Dawn Primer. And when I originally talked about this in my sale haul, I received quite a few comments asking specifically for a follow-up on this product. Well, I'm just not impressed. I have extremely oily skin, and I've tested a lot of oil controlling primers in my day, and this just didn't really seem to do much, unfortunately. I also don't love the packaging. This cap has a little point in the middle, and then you flip it over and you push it down to pierce the foil. And when I did that, so much product came out the top. I probably lost at least a tablespoonful of product, which, as you know, is likely a lot of uses because you don't need much with this type of primer. And it's not oozing out now, but yeah, it was disappointing to see it just completely come out the top. It is lightweight. It does sink right into the skin. It doesn't mess with my foundation in any way as far as making it pill or go on differently or uneven, but it just really didn't do anything. I live in Las Vegas, which is obviously a hot climate, but I was in Arizona over the weekend and it was even hotter there. Yesterday when I left, it was going to be 101 there. And I was out with my friend walking around at this outdoor shopping mall for a while, and I looked in the mirror and my makeup just didn't look very good. And I had put on this primer that morning, so I just felt like it didn't help to control the shine at all. Up next is this lip gloss set from In Beauty Project. I posted a TikTok about a day after I tested out everything in my haul, and I said that this duo from In Beauty Project, it's called the Get Glazed Lip Duo, was an immediate favorite. I love the smell, I love the shine, I love the shade enhancing color of the gloss. Well, this one is clear, but what it's supposed to do is mix with your own body chemistry to create your perfect shade of gloss. So there's really so much to like about these glosses, but I have to put it in my bottom 5 now because much like the Fenty lip glosses, they started to run down my chin. So disappointed. That does not happen to me with all glosses, because if it did, I wouldn't be wearing lip gloss. I don't think anyone would like looking in a mirror a couple of hours after you've applied your makeup and seeing a glob of gloss on your chin. Nobody wants that. And I always use a lip pencil, which will usually help any other lip product like a lipstick or a lip gloss or a lip balm from migrating outside of your lip line. But with this formula and the Fenty, it just doesn't work. The lip liner doesn't help. Please let me know in the comments if this gloss or the Fenty gloss runs on you as well, because I feel very alone in this. I don't really hear many people talking about how certain glosses run down their chin like they do on mine. Up next is this Patrick Ta She's Bronzed Cream Contour and Bronzer Duo. I already owned the She's Sculpted Duo that he originally came out with. When Patrick first launched these duos, I believe there were only 2 shade options. She's Sculpted and She's something else. And to be honest with you, I didn't feel like the She's Sculpted duo was bad at all. It has a little bit more of a cool tone than this one, which actually works a little bit better for my skin tone, but I found myself not reaching for it. But then, as I think I mentioned in my haul video, I still want to do this video, a recreation of a makeup look Patrick did on this really popular influencer. So what I did was I went and purchased all the same products, if I didn't have them already, that Patrick used on this influencer so that I can eventually recreate the look. However, this bronze shade makes me look a little bit muddy. And I've learned since playing around with a lot of new contour products lately that I really prefer a stick contour. I own quite a few cream contours in like tubs or just compacts, but if I look at the contour products I've reached for in the last week or so, they are always bronzers that come in some sort of stick formula, or even the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand that I can just sort of dot around my face. And that's just an application preference of mine. I'm sure there are many of you out there who don't like those kind. Or if you're using a stick bronzer, you take a brush first, go onto the bronzer stick, and then apply it to your face. For example, the Makeup by Mario contour stick. Whenever I've seen him apply it, I don't believe I've ever seen him go in right with the stick. He'll take a brush and then pick up the product and go like that. But we all have our own ways of applying products, and since I'm no longer working on clients, I'm just doing makeup on myself, I like to just take the stick and draw some lines and then blend them out. So yeah, this is not a bad product. It's just the shade is not ideal for me, and I prefer a stick contour versus one in a compact. Now you may be thinking, well, what if you just use it for bronzer? Because you can use this as bronzer. It doesn't have to be used as contour. However, I'm not in love with the formula of the powder. It doesn't have that real silky, blendable touch that I like a powder bronzer to have. And once again, the shade is a little bit too muddy and brown for my skin tone. I like my bronzer to have a little bit more of a golden touch to it, so I get that sort of sun-kissed golden glow. And you will see that in one of my top 5 products. So lastly, in my bottom 5 products from my Sephora sale haul is this Refy Brow Tint. Do any of you have a brand that you keep trying because you keep hearing such hype about it, but then every time you try a product, it just doesn't wow you at all? That's my situation with this brand, Refy. Everything I've tried so far from the brand has just been meh. Like nothing exciting, nothing to shout about from the rooftops. I just don't love it, but I keep trying products because so many people rave about them. They are so hyped up, at least on my social media feeds they are. So this is a new product, and I showed it in my haul video, my original haul video. And in that video, I talked about how I originally was drawn to the uniqueness of this ball-tipped applicator. And yes, it might be good for someone with really thick, bushy brows already, But if you have sparse, light brow hairs like I do, it does nothing. And I purchased the soft brown shade thinking that it might give my brows a little bit of extra color while shaping them and locking them in place, but no. Sadly, I feel like it does absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. It doesn't even really hold my brows in place. So yeah, this, I would say if I were ranking my bottom 5, this would be the #1 disappointment. All right, let's move on to the top 5. These are products that I find myself reaching for over and over again. I'm just really, really loving them. So why don't I start with the bronzer, because I mentioned moments ago how I felt like the Patrick Ta was a little bit too muddy and brown. Well, if you have a skin tone like mine, this Lawless Summer Skin Velvet Matte Bronzer in Golden Hour is what you need. This is a fantastic bronzer. I've also been using it a lot in the crease of my eyes as a transition shade. It lasts all day long. It sort of diffuses the texture on the skin versus accentuating it. I do still adore my Gucci bronzer, but it is extremely expensive. But if you're looking for a bronzer that's a little bit more affordable, that's also cruelty-free, then I would check out this one from Lawless. Another product from Lawless that is in my top 5 best purchases is the Perfecting Powder Talc-Free Skin Smoothing Powder. This reminds me so much of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Powder that I've raved about for years. This really does airbrush your skin. It doesn't control oil per se, but it doesn't claim to. So I do still have to carry my MAC Blot powder in my purse to touch up, but when I've completed my original makeup application for the day or for the night and I go over with this powder, it does give a very beautiful skin smoothing, blurring effect. And I know a lot of you prefer to use powders that are talc-free, so this is definitely a winner. Next up is this lip pencil from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have purchased so many of these lip pencils trying to find the perfect pinky nude to wear with most of my lipsticks, which are in that same shade range, as most of you know. I love a pinky nude or a peachy nude lip color. And so again, I've purchased several of the shades, but they have all been just slightly off. They have all turned a little bit too warm on me. I never thought to purchase the shade Muted Mauve because all of the mauve lip pencils I've tried in the past have pulled a little purpley on me, or they're just too pinky. They don't have enough brown to them. Hopefully this description is making sense. I know I'm sort of all over the place. Let's just say this is the perfect everyday pinky nude lip pencil. It will very likely be too light for anyone with medium to dark skin, but if you have fair or fair to light skin like I do, this is perfect. The formula is very creamy. It doesn't tug on my lips. I have been wearing this lip pencil nearly every day since I bought it. Up next is the Dior Backstage Rosy Glow Blush in the shade Coral. I have the pink. I've had it for a couple of years now, and I like it. Don't love it, but I love the coral, and I wish I had not waited so long to try it. But I just kept telling myself that I didn't need another peachy coral blush, but I did. I did need this because it is so beautiful. And even though I already have the Giorgio Armani on right now, I'm going to pop a little bit of this on just so you can see what a beautiful shade it is, especially going into spring and summer. I'm really, really loving peachy blushes right now. I'm finding myself reaching for them more often than my pinker blushes. And baby pink blush was definitely having a moment for the last 5-6 months. Everyone was trying to get the coolest toned baby pink blush they could get their hands on. And now I'm seeing the shift towards peach. So if you pick this up during the sale, I hope you love it as much as I do. I do find that this one has more pigmentation than the pink one, at least the pink one that I have. I have to really, really build that one up to even see the color. But with this, I'm getting much more of a punch from the first application. And it's matte, so it does not emphasize any texture. Final product in my top 5 favorites from my Sephora sale haul is the Givenchy Prism Libre Skin Caring Concealer. This is a beautiful concealer. From the packaging to the applicator to the formula, there's really nothing I don't like about it. It's creamy, it's hydrating, it lasts all day long. I find myself reaching for either this or the Kulfi concealer. I cannot believe I forgot to recommend that one in my original recommendations video because I truly adore that concealer. However, it went missing for a short time, which is probably why I forgot to mention it in my recommendations video. And then someone left me a comment saying, I really thought you would have recommended the Kulfi because you loved it so much. And it immediately sparked something in my head where I thought, I do love that concealer. Where the heck is it? So I scoured all of my beauty bins and I finally found it. Started using it again, and yeah, it is incredible. But at the same time, I had been testing out this one. And I think this one is pretty amazing too. And I can love, just as you can love, many concealers at the same time. You can own several that are good. But no one, unless you're a makeup artist or an influencer creating beauty content, needs to have 8, 10, 20, 30 different concealers. So in my opinion, if you are in the market for a really good, high coverage, hydrating, long wear concealer, you can do either the Kulfi or this one from Givenchy. So there they are, my top 5 purchases from the Sephora VIB sale and my bottom 5 purchases from the Sephora sale. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and join the Risa Does Makeup family. I do post new content at least twice per week. You can also find more from me over on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok under the same username, Risa Does Makeup. As usual, all of the products will be listed and linked down below in the description box. And that'll do it. I hope to see you all in my next video.